Pushing for answers about the investigation into the death of a baby girl. So far, all we know is her name, Majesty Laster. We also know Malcolm Laster hasn't been charged with the infant's death, but he is charged in the death of a French bulldog. That touched off an animal cruelty case. Katie Munch is following this investigation for us.
Jim, while we have information about the baby's death has been slow in coming, police are giving us specifics about the animal cruelty case. Investigators say Malcolm Laster was illegally breeding dogs in his apartment, and they didn't have clean water or food. Officers tried saving one dog and her puppy, but they died. And now animal rights activists is calling on lawmakers to do more to protect cats and dogs.
We really want to make sure that the DA follows through with felony charges on this.
Bryce Henderson, the president of No Kill Las Vegas, an animal welfare organization, is calling on Clark County DA Steve Wilson to step up and make an example out of this man, Malcolm Laster. In an arrest report, officers say they found 3 adult dogs and 13 puppies inside his apartment. They also found a small French bulldog named Gigi that was so thin, officers say they could see her bones. By the time they got Gigi and one of her puppies to the vet, they both died.
He wasn't feeding them, wasn't cleaning them, wasn't giving them medical care, and he was hoping he could make some quick money.
According to the report, Laster eventually confessed to investigators that he was illegally breeding the dogs. Henderson says his organization has noticed an uptick in people illegally breeding popular dogs, then selling them without properly vaccinating them.
We just had a puppy that we'd rescued from the streets that we lost to parvo. Someone was breeding it and they couldn't sell it, or I don't know what the case was, but they let the dog go on the street, and we tried to rescue it, and it turned out to be very sick.
The animal advocate says the county needs to do a better job of protecting dogs and cats in our community.
We see way too often that they lower the charges to misdemeanors on so many of the animal cruelty cases. If the DA continues to treat animal cruelty like speeding tickets, then nobody's really going to pay much attention on an animal cruelty charge.
I reached out to the DA's office about animal cruelty, but haven't heard back. We will continue to dig for more information into the death of that infant.
As we all get through these wet and cold nights, Las Vegas homeless shelters are handling an increase in demand for the services they offer. Reporter Brett Forrest is live outside in these damp conditions tonight with more on how one shelter is really trying to help those out on the streets.
Well, Jim, Las Vegas not only experiencing that rain today, but also some recent low temperatures. So with these wet and cold conditions, the homeless population needing some extra help. So I looked into how the Salvation Army is handling this cold weather.
This cold weather is no joke.
For those living on the streets like Sunny, the recent drop in temperatures can be dangerous.
The cold weather, to me, it's not helping. It gets, people get sick, they catch colds, they catch the flu. People can die of the hypothermia from freezing out there.
With Las Vegas hitting a numbing 32 degrees on Sunday, the second time this month and year we've hit the freezing mark. A stark reminder of the importance of warm shelter.
They feed them out there and give them food, and they try and bring blankets, but at the same time, it's very important for them to get inside if they can.
Shelters like the Salvation Army saying all of their beds have been full during the cold snap, expecting the same with Thursday's rain. Nearly 300 people a night.
When it's colder, it's just harder for somebody just to be out there with one little blanket or maybe a jacket or a sweater. So people do tend to come in.
Shelters coordinate together when the cold or rain hits to open up as many beds as they can. But with this cold weather, having to turn some people away, referring them to other agencies that might have open beds. And since it is the season of giving, the shelter providing some Christmas gifts to help keep people warm with blankets, hats, gloves, and socks. And those less fortunate, reminding others we all need some kindness this holiday season.
Homeless people, they're human too. We all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions.
And looking ahead, we are expected to get back near those freezing temperatures again in the middle of next week. And the shelter is telling me they will continue making sure that they can help the homeless people stay as warm as they can.
The holiday testing rush is here. A lot of people want to know for sure whether they have it before they go maybe visit family. And they're scrambling to secure the at-home coronavirus testing kits ahead of Christmas. News 3's Lauren Clark joins us with more on that. And Lauren, first of all, if you can explain how these tests are different than the ones that you would get at an actual testing site.
Right. So there is a difference to them. It's mainly in how they work. So, for example, how it works, the accuracy, and then the time it takes for the results. Still, the CDC recommends you consider taking one before gathering indoors for celebrations.
Thomas Hewlett from Hawaii is tickled to celebrate Christmas with the grandkids.
We got all our shots, our boosters and stuff.
He's one of the estimated 109 million Americans AAA says will be traveling this year. But as Omicron rips through the country, there's concern of keeping families safe.
Testing is really one of the ways we can deal with it.
There's two forms of testing, a PCR lab test and these at-home rapid tests.
It is a wonderful tool, and it will help identify people who could have active or rip-roaring COVID early on.
Board-certified family physician Dr. Dahlia Walk says the at-home kits detect for proteins left by the virus in the nose, unlike the PCR tests, which identify the virus's DNA. But unlike the PCR, which typically takes a few days, you can know results in a matter of minutes. Perfect, says Camilla Conley.
I think it would be good to have
for holiday celebrations.
Especially if you plan on having guests come over, you can have a test available and just make sure everyone takes it.
But here's the catch.
Just because it's negative, don't assume you're in the clear.
These tests aren't as accurate, warns Dr. Jonathan Bakhtari with E7 Health.
Depends which kit you're using, but let's throw the number of 70%, versus 99%.
Still, doctors say it's a great layer of extra protection. They say to test as soon as possible before seeing family.
If you could do it right before you get on a plane or right before you see that your relatives.
Just know, if you have a family member who's more at risk, you might need to take more precautions.
Still, social distance. Maybe have the celebration with more ventilation or outside or less people, or spread out the tables so not everybody's at the same table.
Now, to get the most accurate result, wash your hands before and follow all of the directions as well. Jim?
All right, so we know demand is way up there. A lot of people want them. How's the supply holding up? Can you find them at local pharmacies?
Yeah, so we did go earlier today, and it will depend, what part you are in the valley, but we did see some of them at least 2 pharmacies, but we do know that they're going very quickly. So if you do want to get your hands on one of these, probably now is the time to go out and buy them.
All right, great peace of mind if you are going to see someone who may be older or have underlying conditions, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.